The $20 million net worth of Lana Rhoades is one of the most cited figures in the history of the spicy content world. But the reality behind that number is a web of legal traps, predatory agency contracts, and a desperate rebranding effort that is still unfolding today. For years, the public saw a woman at the absolute pinnacle of the blue site rankings, a creator who seemingly conquered the game and retired a multi-millionaire before the age of 25. But in a series of bombshell revelations across late 2025 and early 2026, the woman formerly known as Amara has begun to pull back the curtain on a reality that looks less like a success story and more like a financial and psychological rescue mission. To understand where the money actually went, we have to look past the viral podcast clips and into the actual business structures that governed her rise and fall. According to the interview on The Night Shift aired in November 2025, the transition from being the most searched person on the planet to a quiet life of motherhood wasn't the choice made from a position of power, but a move made out of survival. The first question we have to answer is how a creator with nearly 100 million views on a single platform can claim to be struggling financially during her peak. Second, we need to address the elephant in the room regarding her high-profile child and why the mystery of the father has become a central part of her brand's survival strategy. Finally, we will look at the receipts from her failed digital asset launch that saw nearly $2 million vanish and why the industry she left behind is now the very thing she wants to see made illegal. Most people believe that being the #1 ranked performer in the world equates to an endless stream of passive income. The reality is that the industry work she performed between 2016 and 2018 was governed by contracts that favored the platforms and the studios, not the individual. Per a report in the Lokmat Times on January 17, 2023, Lana revealed that while her face was generating billions of clicks, her actual take-home pay for some of her most famous scenes was as low as $1,200. She contrasted this with the world of traditional social media, where a single post could net $15,000. This massive pay gap is the reality that most aspiring creators miss. She wasn't an owner, she was an employee in a system that owned her likeness forever. This realization is what led to her famous quote on the Skinny Confidential podcast, where she stated that the industry should be made illegal. This brings us to the most shocking point in the Lana Rhoades timeline, the manipulation of her rebirth and the financial desperation that likely fueled her pivot into the crypto space. In early 2022, Lana launched a project called CryptoSys, which promised investors a lucrative investment and a long-term roadmap. According to the analysis by internet investigators on February 25, 2022, the project raised roughly $1.8 million in Ethereum before the funds were moved and the communication went silent. While the official line from her management was that Lana was upset by the negativity in the community, the fallout left thousands of holders with worthless digital assets. This move signaled a creator who was trying to find a massive exit liquidity event to fund a life away from the spicy content world. It wasn't about the tech, it was about the payout needed to buy her freedom from the industry that still used her image to sell ads every single day. When we look at the timeline of the CryptoSys launch, the desperation becomes clear. Per reports from Capital.com on February 25, 2022, nearly 509 Ethereum was transferred out of the project wallet almost immediately after the mint concluded. For those unfamiliar with the tech, this is the equivalent of a store owner taking all the cash out of the register and locking the doors the day after a grand opening. The expectation sold to her followers was a community-led metaverse project where they could interact with her avatar. The reality was a swift financial extraction that occurred just as she was attempting to pivot into a cleaner mainstream image. This specific event remains one of the largest stains on her business reputation. reputation, yet she has largely managed to pivot away from the backlash by focusing on her journey as a single mother. The third layer of this story is the calculated mystery of her child's father. For years, social media has been obsessed with identifying which NBA star is responsible for her son. On podcasts like Curious Mike in April 2024, Lana played into the speculation, dropping hints about Brooklyn Nets players and Libra zodiac signs. While fans view this as tea or drama, from a business perspective, it is a masterclass in retention. By keeping the father's identity a secret, she ensures that every podcast appearance she makes becomes a viral event. It keeps her name in the headlines of sports media and gossip columns, providing the clout necessary to maintain her influencer status without having to return to the blue site. Per the Jeff FM interview in November 2025, Lana continues to navigate these boundaries, using her past trauma as a shield and her current mystery as a sword to stay relevant in an attention economy that is notoriously fickle. The darker reality of her departure involves the actual physical and mental toll of the work. Lana has been vocal about the 3 to 5 scenes that she describes as truly traumatic. According to her 3 Girls, 1 Kitchen podcast, she was often sent to sets where she was pressured into acts she was scared of or paired with performers who made her feel unsafe. This is the part of the industry that the expectations side of the video never shows. The reality of the blue site is that once the footage is captured, the performer loses control. She has spent the last 3 years attempting to have her old content deleted, a legal battle that is almost impossible to win given the ironclad nature of industry releases. This struggle has turned her into one of the most prominent anti-industry voices, a complete reversal from the girl who told a school counselor at 14 that she was going to be the #1 star in the world. To understand the financial disparity, we have to look at how she was marketed versus how she was paid. Per the Lad Bible report from May 2025, Lana noted that despite being the top-ranked star on major platforms, her bank account only held about $100,000 when she finally quit. In the world of high-level entertainment, that is a shockingly low figure for someone with her level of global recognition. This is where the agency contracts come into play. Many performers are signed to exclusive management deals, where the agency takes a massive percentage of booking fees, travel expenses, and even social media earnings. By the time the taxes and fees are taken out, the millionaire lifestyle is often just a rented house and a borrowed car used for Instagram photos. This financial trap is why so many creators move to independent platforms like OnlyFans. But even then, the shadow of the past looms large. Lana has stated that her current wealth was built through her independent work and social media brand, not the studio work that made her famous. However, the paradox of her career is that she wouldn't have the independent following without the studio work she now claims to despise. It's a business catch-22 that has left her in a state of constant defensive PR. According to her interview with Emily Ratajkowski on the High Low podcast in October 2023, she is constantly fighting to take back control of her image, even as those images continue to be some of the most profitable assets for the companies she left behind. The strategy moving forward for Lana Rhoades seems to be a total detachment from the spicy world in favor of a lifestyle and motherhood brand. But as we saw with the NFT controversy, the get-rich-quick temptations of her past life often collide with her new goals. The receipts show a woman who is trying to outrun a legacy that is literally written into her legal contracts. Per her recent social media updates in early 2026, she is focused on raising her son away from the spotlight, yet she continues to drop breadcrumbs for the paparazzi and gossip sites. It's a delicate dance of staying relevant enough to pay the bills while being gone enough to claim healing. If we analyze the relink between her past and present, we see a pattern of high-risk business moves. The CryptoSys project wasn't just a mistake, it was a symptom of a creator who felt the clock ticking on her relevance. When you are the #1 in an industry that prizes youth above all else, the pressure to monetize every single second of your peak is immense. This leads to poor decision-making and partnerships with advisors who prioritize prioritize short-term gains over long-term brand safety. According to the CoffeeZilla investigation from February 2022, the lack of transparency in her digital asset project was a direct result of this fast money mentality. In 2026, the conversation around Lana Rhoades has shifted from what she did to how she survived. She has become the face of a movement for better performer rights, even as she remains a controversial figure for her own business failings. The reality of the $20 million figure is that it likely represents the gross revenue she generated for others, rather than the net profit she kept for herself. It's the ultimate industry lie, the idea that fame equals fortune. Today, Lana Rhoades operates in a gray area of the internet. She's no longer the queen of the adult world, but she isn't quite a mainstream celebrity either. She's a mother, a podcaster, and a cautionary tale. Her current revenue streams are built on a corporate-safe influencer model, but the shadow of her past follows her. The business lesson here is simple. If you don't own the platform and you don't own the rights, the millions are just a mirage. Lana's journey shows that even at the very top, the house always wins, and the cost of cashing out is often higher than anyone expects. In summary, the Lana Rhoades story isn't just about a woman who changed her mind. It's about a creator who realized she was the product, not the owner. She navigated predatory contracts, a failed $2 million digital asset launch, and a traumatic industry exit to build a new life that relies on the very mystery and controversy she claims to want to escape. It is a cycle of clout, trauma, and rebranding that proves how difficult it is to truly leave the spicy content world behind once you've given it everything. She is the ultimate proof that in the attention economy, your past is never truly deleted. It is simply repackaged for the next season of the show. The industry wants you to believe that everyone is getting rich and staying happy, but the receipts tell a different story. If you want to see how the rest of the game is played and why the biggest names are all looking for an exit strategy, you need to understand the mechanics of the contracts and the agencies that run the show. To get the full picture of what's happening behind the scenes, you need to watch the Velvet Rope Industry Secrets playlist. It's the only way to understand the game before you decide to play it. Every story like Lana's is a piece of a much larger puzzle, and without the full context of the Velvet Rope, you're only seeing the filtered version of reality. Don't get caught in the trap. See the receipts for yourself.